Sairam, everybody. A very good morning. And this is a very nice situation. We are used to talking in the auditoriums where you have audience sitting on the chairs and listening to you. But this is a different scenario. You are enjoying your breakfast. I'm going to add some more food to your plate. It's just that. But believe me, this is coming from Bhagwan. Because all that I am going to tell now, I have not thought about it even some time before that I'll be talking. So whatever I'm going to speak, this is a direct guidance from Bhagwan. And I have some questions before me. Very interesting questions. And, those that have asked these questions, I may not go question by question. But if I narrate an experience, and I'm sure that will answer many of these questions. That's one. Meanwhile, if you feel that you need to ask a question, you are please welcome. I'll try my best to do my best regarding that. Well, I have touched upon Swami's, talking about Swami so far this weekend, like how he has been a loving mother, father, teacher, guide, everything. He is everything, but just a little experience to just tell you how he loves discipline. And this discipline that I'm going to talk is not just for the students community, but this is for everybody. He believes, he tells us that each one of us should have some discipline in our life. And this discipline that he talks of, he says, follow your conscience. So following our conscience is the discipline that, because he says, you may not find a guru, you may really be able to get connected to your master, you're not sure. Because your faith is a big question on the way. How much faith you place, that will decide whether you have a right guru or not. The rest of it apart. Of course, we have our karma, we have rest of it that's there. But then he says, your attitude should be a very disciplined attitude. And doing so, he starts, first he begins talking about parents. So I thought I would touch upon this and then I'll go with the other part of the discipline. Now he says, if a child is wrong, if a child is unruly, if a child is very well behaved, there are two things. First, the child is born with its own samskaras, past tendencies, and the second, the parents' way of upbringing. And Swami says the second one, that is the way the parents bring them up, is very, very important. Why? Because that might even change the samskaras that the child is born with. And then he says a lot of parents say, we are not able to control our children. They are out of control when we try telling them things, but they don't listen. But here I'd like to tell something what Swami, mentioned it, if not many times. A mother should take care of the child when the child is in the womb and not when the child is grown up. Right from the time of when the child is in the womb, the mother should be careful. And it's not the mother, the father. And it is said that, we read in psychology that when the child is in the womb, the child listens to the conversation of the parents. The child looks, sees, even the child can recognize what dress the mother is wearing, etc. So we also have instances from our scriptures when Parikshit was in the womb of his mother and how that incident took place. You know that, right? So that itself shows that yes, the child is to be taken care of not just from the birth, but when it is in the womb. How many of us really do that? Secondly, when the child is born, a lot of us parents, merge the child in love and affection. That is required. It's a shield for the child. But that love and affection, it grows and grows. We forget at one time that we have to change our ways towards our children because they're growing up. And at one point of time when the children they start becoming conscious, they start taking advantage of this love and affection. And when they start taking advantage of this love and affection from the parents, they take it for granted that my parents will listen to me whatever I do because they love me. So when that is set into their hearts, it is difficult to be strict to such a child. And from there the problem begins. And later on, when the child starts doing mistake, the parents get the awareness. Oh, my child is going wrong. Now what to do? It's late. But then Swami says, there is never late. Any moment is a moment of awareness. I was reading a book. It says that a lot of children in the countries like USA, Australia, UK, and many other advanced countries, a lot of children are very, very aggressive by nature, even from the time they are just 7 to 10-year-old, not to talk about further. So this aggressiveness is mainly caused, Swami said, due to the TV, which he says telepoison. And this is the fact. And then he says, you are not putting a full stop to that because you want to watch and then your children watch. So again, parents are questioned. And then he says, the book says that children in the process of video games, TV, computer, whatever, they see some 15 to 20,000 murders per day. And what happens? They take it subconsciously, and that is settled down. And they take it so seriously, what they see. They don't realize that that's just a video game. And that sets in the subconscious, and when the subconscious grows, the nature of the child also changes. And that is the worst reason to be aggressive. So he says it is not the training that is required for the children. The training is required for the parents. So all the parents should get into the school of discipline themselves, and then only they can take care of their children. Same thing he talks about the teachers. He says, I don't blame even a single student for any reason. However, whatever mistake they may make, it is the teacher's responsibility. And then we question, how should we be then? How do we be the best parents and best teachers in Swami's eyes? Yes, we were born and we had our own time and days and whatever. So now that we are made this way, then how do we do it? Swami says, take a U-turn to spirituality. Get back to the source. Tell your children. Yes, be polite to them. Tell them, this weekend can you come with me for some service work, leaving aside your own personal things? request them not once but 50 times. Maybe the 51st time your child will listen to you. You should not lose patience. It's never late. Even now there is time to do that, he says. So slowly it's time for the parents to, help their children to come back with their practices, with their good words. And it is only in the path of, a path that Swami shows. Other than that, there is no way. And just to talk in a little different, let's say, I would like to touch upon a little experience of mine here about discipline. Swami would call us for interviews, and those interviews that we received from Swami, please don't think that we used to talk about our children, husband, parents, and others. Never. As soon as we would enter the interview room, Swami would look at us and say, look, only spiritual questions, no personal. So that was it. So we never had a chance, never felt the need even to ask a question from our personal level, because he already answered it. So when we used to have this spiritual interaction with Bhagwan, sitting close right before him and listening to him, looking at his face. I tell you, the divine energy that used to flow, and that used to give us, and that gave us always that assurance that yes, we can do it. We can do it really, As parents, as teachers, we can change it. And Swami says, the youth or the children are the future of the country, future of the world. Therefore, what responsibility lies in the hands of the parents, he says. And he also says, do not self-pity that I cannot really do anything. If you cannot, God is there to help you. So look at him, he will give you he will show you the way, he says. Coming back to my experience, Swami, earlier it was a practice that those devotees whoever is in Prashanti Nilayam, and those days we had a wonderful fortune that Swami would walk the way, and we used to get a lot of chances to touch Bhagwan's feet and take namaskar. And that was the experience of all the devotees. It is not just the teachers and students, but everybody. So it was with us. But I personally always had a feeling I shouldn't touch Swami's feet unless he allows me to do that. And needless to say that I missed a lot of chances because of that. Because I had that feeling that I shouldn't do it, because very rarely he asked me to take one. And then, one day, a teacher was sitting next to me. She said, I don't know whether you're right in your, what you think, but you are missing so much of chance. When you touch Bhagwan, you are getting that energy from him. Then why do you stop yourself? If you got a chance to touch, it means Swami is giving you. So change your way of thinking and try the other way. And she told me 2-3 times, and then at one point of time, I thought maybe I'm wrong. And what she's telling is right, and maybe Swami wants me to touch his feet. Okay, next time when he comes, I'll be all ready to touch his feet, And I was really waiting for that. Swami came. This time he came a little closer to us compared to every time, so that, and I was all with the feeling that yes, Swami wants me to touch his feet, and Swami wants me to change my way of thinking. Maybe that was not right, what I thought. And I also thought that, Swami, I missed a lot of chances. You have to compensate for that. And then he came. The lady sitting next to me literally fell on Swami's feet. Swami waited. She got up. Swami smiled. And then he came. He stood closer to me. I was so nervous at that moment. Should I touch or not? Because I had not been doing that. So I looked up at Swami, He was right in front of me. I was looking up, and then he said, discipline. And with his finger, he said, don't touch. And he walked. He stood before me, and he walked. Then I was, conscious. I said, Swami, I'm sorry. Now I know what I should do. At the right moment, you told me. And I know that I'm not missing anything. That is the great part, So he went off. And then I was quiet, and I was very happy, actually. And the next day, he came. He looked at me. He came in front of me, and he said, why don't you touch my feet? I tell you, I was like, then I thought, yes, Swami, with your permission, surely, I was, and the moment when Bhagwan is right before you, your head is not in place. Your mind is not in place. You are not thinking. Very rarely we are in ourselves at such moments. And he does that. He makes us completely blank. And this happened even after 24 years. So many chances, so many interviews, so many interactions, but the experience was the same with him. And I'm really thankful that it is nothing but that divine energy, that makes us that way. Makes us so aware and gives us that energy, within. And that actually is responsible for us to feel that way. That was one. So I must say that discipline is something which Swami is very dear to Swami. This is not a written discipline in any book. Perhaps we can't follow it if it's written. We have to write it on our own, in our own hearts, and then follow it. And that's how. And if we need a guidance, it's Bhagwan and his ways. So we don't need anything. I tell you, there's no bewilderment. We are not bewildered. We are not lost. Thankfully, because we have God. If we choose to be lost, it's different. If we choose to be bewildered, that's different. But if we have God with us, and we should recognize the fact, that's that answers everything. So, in this connection, I would also like to tell, when I came to this country, after having stayed with Swami in that close atmosphere with nothing but Swami, if I had to come to a country like this, I had a lot of challenges. You can ask me what kind of, I'm sure many of you, most of you would have faced that way, those who came, but in my case it was a little different because, I thought once I came from that, such a close, we had such a way of living there, will I be able to come and adjust or live elsewhere, far from coming to US, even in any other part of India? I knew that the cultures are different, and I was told by my parents and Swami, respect cultures. Do not compare cultures, then you are at fault. And I'm so thankful that I didn't do that. I tried. I'm still trying to adapt myself to this culture the best way possible. Not trying to compare with my culture, that is foolish, but trying to respect the culture here, whatever it is, because I chose to come to this country. And by doing so, it made it so easy for me to just go and teach in a college with the youngsters. And let me tell you, if you ask me, the students that I have taught for 16 years at Anantapur, and the students that I teach here in the undergrad classes, not much difference. Not much difference in my eyes. Well, if you say, oh, this is the way they dress up, that is the way they dress up, I'm not talking about the dressing up. I'm not talking about, because if we sit to see all those things at this moment, we are wasting time. We are wasting time. A lot of time goes looking at the personalities, looking at the outside of a person, and we fail to see the inside. When I interact with my students, I have a lot of sessions with my students, and my subject actually allows me to do that. And I realize how similar their thoughts are, and how, of course, their upbringings are different. So it may be different in a way of expressing it, but that's all is the difference, let me tell you. And I was able to do it all because, far from having a difficulty in teaching or staying, I'm actually very well, I'm able to adapt myself here. I'm again thankful to Swami because of that. Therefore, I feel that all we want or all we need is a little broader outlook. Little more accommodation in our hearts, make a place, accommodate. Think widely. Perhaps that will really solve a lot of problems. And I tell my students here, you may not believe it, I tell them that, of course, I'm not the one to teach about Swami in the class or things like that, but then, some of them don't even believe in God here. They don't even know the existence of God. They're happy. They have money, they have freedom, they enjoy life. What else they need? That's all. They say, don't talk about God, we don't require Him in our life. But then I tell them, life is not all that easy. You will be reminded of Him one day, time will come, experiences will teach. So, you believe or you don't believe, but at one point of time, you have to believe. That's how it is. Only difference is how soon or how late. That's all. So I feel at this moment, if parents are aware to take care of the children, a lot of people in the next generation will not find this kind of situation what it is now, and if we are unhappy with the situation now, it's all in our hands. We can change it. And why? When God is there with us, we have direct guidance. We don't have any worry. I hope I answered this question in a way. And yes, there's a question which, I'll put it this way, that when we try to practice something good, when we try to do something good, we are surrounded by all the opposites, negative. Well, I must say that that's a part of nature. It has to be that way. Negative and positive both have to be there in the world. But if these tests are not given to us, we don't learn. So maybe, if things were so easy and all positive at all times, we wouldn't know the negative. So how? When there is light, we will not know the value or the nature of darkness. But we have to have the darkness. So, in Swami's words, accept both negative and positive equally. Then decide what you want to do with that. Would you go with the negative or the positive? So the best way is to balance between both. And when you are facing any negative situation in life, keep your head leveled and pray to Bhagwan to give the courage to help you to face the situation instead of asking not to give the situation, because that will come anyway. So that's how I think we can compromise with the negative situations in our lives, because it's inevitable anyway. It will come in everybody's life. But the negative shouldn't change our attitude, change our outlook. A lot of us, those who know Swami, I can't declare devotees because Swami says I'm still searching for a devotee. I have not found one. So I don't think so that's the right word, though you use it. But what I feel, at least those of us who are trying to follow the path shown by Swami, and we got to know quite many things about Swami, and we like it. We try to practice the way that he has shown us. And at that moment, one desire comes to our mind: how to go closer to Bhagwan. Some of the people say, how to be close. Bhagwan, how to come close to you. And Swami says, yes, to come to me, you need two things. First, your intention, your interest, and second, my grace. Without my grace, you cannot come to me. Without my grace, you cannot think of me. It's not that all you have to do, but you need my grace. Then the question, how do I know whether I have the grace? If I have the good intention to follow the path of Swami, how will I know? Then Swami said it's connected. You have the intention, grace will automatically come. But you have to take the first step. You have to take a step forward so that you allow His grace to come to you. So that's how perhaps we will go closer. But I tell you, the more we try to be spiritual, practice good things, the more difficulties that we have in life. And that's how he says, these are the tests you are given. Because if only it was so easy to come to me, many people would have been so close to me by now. But because it is difficult and because it is full of tests, so it takes time for you. But never leave the faith that He will come to me. No matter when, but one day you all will definitely. So we have to continue our process to become close to God, go closer to Him, and it is a continuous process. This is the answer for a question someone asked. How can one be closer to God, near and dear to Bhagwan? Swami says, no one is near and dear to me. No one is far from me. Because I am in everybody. How can I separate myself from myself? Okay, apparently the eyes see it, but it's all dream. Actually, it is all me. Therefore, I don't see you, it is only me. And all I'm asking you to do is the same thing, that is, see me in everyone. So, of course, I know this is just, like how we were told that on the mountaintop there is a beautiful place, go and see it, and then we are starting our journey at the foothill. So we are still to reach the mountaintop and fetch these. It is all the journey now. But halfway through, if we feel, we are tired, let me go back, that's up to us. Or if we feel, no, let me take the pain and go up, because I want that, again, that is up to us. This is a question which has come in connection to eating non-vegetarian food. I don't have much comments about it at this moment, but I believe what Swami says is the truth. What Swami tells us to do, we must do it. Blindly, without questioning, without seeing the pros and cons. It is just because Bhagwan has said it, we do it. That's all. I don't want to use my logic and reason and my knowledge or all my intellectual abilities to analyze that question or that sentence that has come from Bhagwan. He says, do not eat meat. Do not eat eggs. Do not eat fish. Do not take wine. That's all. Leave aside all culture, all religion, all caste, creed, community. If we are going to go close to Bhagwan, if you want to listen to him, I won't do it. I may belong to anything, but I will not do it. Once Swami had called a group of industrialists. They had a meeting with Bhagwan in Prashantinilayam. Swami was having a close interview with them. And Indulal Shah was also there. And then Swami told a story to these industrialists. He said, there was a priest and somebody came and asked this priest, I will ask you 3 things, will you do? The priest says, okay, question me what they are. The first question was, will you eat meat? Then the priest said, I cannot eat because I am a Brahmin, I belong to such and such, and I will lose my caste if I do it. No, I don't want to do that. Then the priest was asked, will you stay with another lady? Then he said, how can I do? I'm already married, and that is against my culture or whatever. I will not. I will not do that. I don't want to do it. And then third question was, will you take wine? And then the priest thought, this is told by Swami, I'm telling you. Then the priest thought, why not? Little wine will not make much difference. Okay, other things are not compromisable, but drinking little wine may not really cause anything. So he started drinking wine. He drank, and then he started practicing the rest of them. He started eating wine and the rest. Then Swami said, our mind is like this. No one can say, well, I have control. We absolutely have no control over our body. When I'm told that don't look that side, I only look that side. My mind doesn't allow me to control my senses. How can I say we can have control and we can control these? Nothing. So, after telling this, story, he looked at those industrialists. Swami didn't say anything else, just told the story. Then one of the industrialists, he humbly came close to Bhagwan and said, Swami, all is fine. But in this world, when we have meetings or we have some get-together, drinking wine is just a practice. It is nothing wrong. I mean, we don't take it as a wrong, taking a sip or two. Then Bhagwan said, well. And then, of course, this gentleman said, this is a part of the flourishing of your business that we do. It's a kind of, a social, practice, he said. And then Swami said, well, if it is a social practice, you go on with it. I'm not saying you shouldn't. Okay, if you feel it's fine, you do. And flourish your business. Let the wine flourish your business, not Swami, he said. It is either Swami or wine, not both. No compromise, nothing. Nobody can take the help. Nobody can say that it's my culture. Nobody can say it's my practice. Nobody can say, no, it's my parents who force me. Nobody can say anything. If I don't want, nobody can force me. I am the master of my own mind and body. So he says, make your mind your master. Don't make your mind your servant. Once you make it a servant, well, you fall into it. So it goes without saying that we should not take the help of every other thing like culture, family background, practices, and try doing these things. If we do not want to, we shouldn't, because Swami doesn't want it. And Swami openly has declared this in many of the discourses, especially during Guru Purnima discourses. If you go and see, when he spoke to the young adults, the youth group, time and again he mentioned exclusively about food habits. And there you will find what exactly Bhagwan says. But choice is left to us. If we want to, nobody can stop us. But if we want to follow Bhagwan, it is no and only big no. That's all I can share about this. Yeah, so far I have only these questions. If you want to say something, or if you want to, anyone could ask me anything, if I may try to answer that, or if you feel this is just fine, okay? However, but I shouldn't fail to say this, that I have had a wonderful time here, because all the time I'm hearing that everybody else is having a good time. I'm not getting a chance to tell how I felt. It was so wonderful. I have a baby of 2 years at home, and I never traveled anywhere without him till now. This is the first time I'm here without my son. And you know, all of your parents, most of your parents, so you know what it is to leave a child at home. And I tell you, when I was coming, I never thought that I would come. My husband travels a lot from place to place. Just 2 weeks back, he was in Arizona attending a conference, and I wanted to come along with him. I said, let us also join you and see the place there. But then he couldn't bring us here because he had his work schedule was such that we couldn't fit into that. I was feeling bad that Swami, will I never see the place? Is it wrong to see the place after coming to this place? Why? I want to meet people around. I want to meet the Sai devotees and those that are there in other part of the country. It will be wonderful, Swami. Why can't we just talk? And then, just after 2 weeks, I got a call from Aparna, and she asked, Madam, are you free to come to us? I said, okay, for what? Then she said, we're having a conference. Would you like to speak? I was so happy that moment. Without even thinking anything, I said, sure, I'm coming. Without even thinking, because I had to see my husband's schedule. And who will take care of the son? Will I take him along with me? Can I? And he's in such an age that he's not independent. He cannot manage himself all by himself. After having said, and I gave my word to her, I put down the phone. My husband came home. I said, I'm going there. He said, what? If I'm also going somewhere, who will take care of the child? Then I said, even if I have to take him along with me, I'm going there. And then, this is again Swami, let me tell you, I didn't speak on my own that time. Because once, if I was given the chance to talk about myself, I would have said, oh, I have a son, I cannot go, I'm sorry. And I would have thought so many things. But Swami didn't allow me to think anything. And he is helping me out this way. And I'm so thankful to Swami. Above everything, we are thankful to Swami for everything. But I should not forget to thank those that are instrumental. And Swami said, your gratitude to them is more important. So I'm so grateful to all of you that, to call me here and share my experiences with you. And I always believe that I have done my part and Swami wanted me to do it this way. Because just before we left the college, Swami would tell us very often, you will not get me, you will not have me the way you had it earlier. Slowly and slowly, you will see me very far. Physically, I will be very far from you. So what will be left with you? Will you sit and think, oh, Swami is very far, he is not close? Don't waste your time saying that. What was then and what was now. Instead, as much as possible, share your experiences with everybody. That is the best sadhana you will be doing. It is his guidance. He makes it possible. We are the instruments to do that. So I thank from my heart to all of you for making it happen this way. Thank you so much, Sai Ram.